greenery is expanding as we head for making number 3 in the Temple of Presence or Pre-Sense series. Bit of a jump there. Here we are. Right, so leaving the mind and the ego outside, let's consider how we do that. That's been one of the requests. And it's good to have some sort of feedback to work off. Let me turn off this automatic focus thing. It doesn't noise all the way through. Is that in focus? Yeah. Now, what is the mind? That we can leave it. In fact, of course, it follows us in here, but we make the symbolic gesture all the time of leaving the mind or the ego outside of this room, because this room is the only place where we are not obliged to think. The mind is thought. And thought is a made-up thing. And so is the mind. It's a very, very strong made-up thing. Or seems to be. Because what we habitually do is think. Thought rules or waking life. Where can you go that you're not obliged to think in your waking life? Even in your dream life. We have only 3 states that we exist in. Our waking life, our dreaming life, and our deep sleep life. I know people say, what about drug experiences, coma experiences, stuff like that, but you take drugs in your waking life. You can have a dream about taking drugs, in which case you're in the dream life. Deep sleep is where you don't have anything. You don't have mind. You don't have thoughts. But you still are. Because when you come out of a deep sleep, you still know that you've just had a really deep, satisfying sleep. You don't know anything about it. Like if you've had a good dream, you can talk about that dream. Because it's made up of thoughts. In our waking life, once we awaken into this life, it seems all important. Dreams don't matter. Deep sleep, that was good, but it's over now. We have life to get on with. Now we've had this lockdown time, still having this lockdown time, it's not so important. Maybe there's the kids to look after, the business that you still have to have Zoom calls about, and all this. But there is space here in this waking life to consider whether it's important to carry on as we have been, or whether it was important, all the things that we thought were important. Now, how do we leave that pesky mind behind? Well, if you can manage to have a space for meditation, the more you practice, the more it'll become a kind of habit, but that space is just where thinking doesn't have to dominate, or doesn't have to be at all. So when you come into a space like this, how to escape the clutches of the mind is to be here, to have your focus be a realized one, is great, profound help. Adi Da Samraj here. Constant reminder of our actual mindless state of fullness, of being itself. Not being this or being that, merely being. Now, if we are merely being right here, we do not follow thoughts anywhere. We remain here. If a thought arises, and you won't be able to stop them arising, but you will be able to not follow them out of this here, this space of being. Thoughts are always to do with the past or the future. They're always taking you out of here, out of being itself, without any recourse to past or future. So if you have a thought that is a memory trying to carry you back to somewhere, you may find that you're suddenly back there, not knowing how you did it. Just open your eyes. You should already be open anyway. This isn't a closed eye thing. When you close your eyes, you tend to go back into yourself, which is just habits and patterns, and as hard to navigate as a very complex maze. You open your eyes and put your attention back on Adi Da. Your true state. You are not separate from his state, which is full, complete, absolute being. Mindless, bright being itself. Not carried by the mind, backwards or forwards or sideways, or any which way. If you have a thought of the future, any possible futures, and you're just following them, all you have to do is, as soon as you realize you're on that train of thought, jump the train. Just by putting your attention back on this picture. It's called a murti. And it is highly effective in invoking the true sense of who you are, because you are not separate from his state. In fact, when we talk about enlightenment, again, it involves the mind so much it seems complicated. But your true state is that of what we call enlightenment. You are already that. That is the good news. You don't have to evolve, become a better you, until eventually you're so good that you're enlightened. It is your already inherent state. What a terrible thing it would be if you had to climb that mountain to get there. You'd never get there. The good news is you already are what we call, from this perspective, enlightened. Only that enlightenment is obscured by patterns, habits of thought, habits of action. And that's why you practice. You come to a space like this, and you practice being. You practice disengaging from the thoughts that shape you into this or that bring you from here into this place or that place. So what is here if you are not thinking? There's the breath of the body, the sound of the birds, voices in the distance, cuckoo, some distant wind. Just being. Don't let any of those words carry you off into, oh, that reminds me of peaceful this or that, or I once saw a cuckoo with a hat on. No, jump that train. Jump it and always land here. That thoughtless, mindless, infinite space. And you are not looking for a you in that space. That very sense of space is you. This. Just what is. The practice is to dwell here more and more. And the mind will fight it. That's why it's a discipline to come back to practice. Just like music. Every instrument seems impossible first. will never do that. How the hell do they get their fingers into that position? But the thing is, with music, with most of the instruments, you're making music from the beginning. They sound up pretty awful. But you can pluck a guitar string and you're off. Trumpet takes a while. Clarinet, stuff like that, to get a sound out of them, but not that much. It takes practice, it takes discipline. Pretty soon the tunes are coming fast and easily. It's quite a beautiful space to be in. Same with this. You have hard days, hard meditation sessions, sessions where you don't want to go in. You have other sessions where there is just what is, and it seems to grow infinitely, and the separation between you and it seems less than it was yesterday, until sometimes there is no space at all. There is just this infinite, beautiful, balanced sense of being without having to be anything or anywhere. You are, and it seems you will never, never lose this. And then you go outside the meditation door and there's some emergency, something has to be done. You have to do this, you have to do that. The mind is engaged, and whoosh, you've forgotten who you are in the doing of things, in the thinking of thoughts, in the shaping of you by need and necessity. And then you come back into the hall full of buzzing and being and shape. And just by being without following any thought or mind construct, this sense here of fullness pervades, and you understand this to be who and what you are. We'll leave it for that, for this third one. Let me know how this is all coming across to you. I really cannot judge, and I do not want to be making these if there is no interest. Let this sense of being, of peace, of mindless, infinite being itself pervade the whole world. Because it is that peace we've all been searching for. It is here.